All right, guys. Animate Florida, how are you guys feeling? I normally have to ask you guys twice, but that was pretty damn good. All right, guys. Without any further ado, we are going to bring out the lady of the hour, the one, the only, Maile Flanagan! All right, keep it going, guys. Keep it going. You made it.
I know.
What's up, Maile?
Side.
There's no stairs on that side.
Oh no. Oh thanks.
There we go. There we go. We got some coffee, some water. You're all set. Good to go.
Yeah, it's hot water.
Oh, awesome.
It's killing me going from the air to the really humid Miami. I'm like coughing and trying to adjust.
Yeah, well, welcome to Miami.
And I believe he was Mexican, but whatever. But it's interesting because in Ireland, you know, it's like the fans are all kind of the same, but in Ireland they have Irish accents. In New Zealand they have, you know, New Zealand accents. Sydney, they have Sydney accents.
So what I was going to ask you, like a little bit later on, but I'll ask you now since you're segued into it. When you hear the name of your show pronounced in the different cities, like the southern version, like do you hear like Naruto or like
sure.
Like do you hear that a lot? Like what have you heard down here in Miami?
Naruto? What? Naruto? Oh, yeah. Every Uber ride I take.
And not only that, but you're the title character, so you probably have to say it twice as much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Believe it. I'm gonna throw that in right away.
Exactly. Start off strong. Well, you know what? We have a microphone set up smack dab in the middle of the room. I know it's a little bit intimidating. Yeah, so this time I don't have to walk around.
You don't have to walk around.
I know.
You did a good job of walking around before.
It was my cardio. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But we do have a microphone right there. Whatever questions you guys have for Maile, I see you raising your hand. Are you all right? Maybe going to the microphone so we can all hear you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, step on down. If you guys want to line up behind him,
Yeah, you can line up.
to
That
do
makes it
so.
easier.
Yeah.
Sweet, okay.
What's your name?
Hi, they call me Boogie because it's easy to remember.
Boogie?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Boogie. Full tilt boogie.
Yes, how you doing? I could use someone else for you. I'm very lame. Hello, how are you?
How are you, Boogie?
I have two questions. I don't know if that's okay.
Are you all right with if we start?
Sure.
Okay.
But let's just say we get more questions if everybody asks one.
Then I'll
Once
do it.
everybody asks two, then everybody else has two, then people feel like they don't get to ask their question. No offense to you.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right, Boogie.
Boogie. But you get two because you're the first one to stand up.
Oh, sweet. All right.
So that's how it
Perks.
Yeah.
Boogie.
Did you ever believe that? Oh wow, I didn't
Believe it.
Did you ever think that Naruto, as you were doing the show, did you already see its following from Japan to? Do you think it was going to be a lot better in America? Really?
No, when I got the job, I went home and Googled it and I was like, holy, boom. This is a big show. And then I didn't know until I started going to conventions. And then I was like, oh my God. And then I, would show up places and there'd be 50 people dressed in my character. I guess that's a big deal. I'm just screaming in a room with the director outside.
Is that any different than normal life? Or?
No, that was my personal life. That wasn't Naruto.
Last one. Can I please ask you to tell me to believe in myself?
Boogie, believe in yourself. Did you get that? Are you his girlfriend? No. No, she's very adamant about that. Oh, sister. Well, that's why you're animated about it. That'd be weird. Yes, and I'm his sister. What?
Nutty.
Nutty. That's crazy.
What's your name?
Hello, my name's Andres. Okay.
Hola.
My question is, when Naruto was first announced, how did you feel that series was going to be continuing?
I haven't done the series yet. They have not asked me to do it, and I haven't done it. So I felt good about it, but I don't know if I'm doing it. I hope so. I did the movie, which you guys might know, and then hopefully I'll do the series, but it has not been announced. I don't know if they know what platform it's going to go on. I don't know if they know if it's going to go on Crunchyroll or Cartoon Network or something. So I'll feel a lot better when I actually know if I'm doing it. But I'm happy that it's continuing. The story is continuing.
Yeah, that way you have more steady income.
That's right. I gotta heat my pool. I don't heat my pool. I can't afford it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You live in LA though. I'm sure it's
I live in LA, but you know, it's cold. And yeah, the pool gets cold. Yeah. Sure. I'm a whip.
What's your name?
Michael,
Hi, Michael.
how long do you think the Naruto series will go on?
Well, gosh, that's a good question. I never thought Naruto would go on this long. True. Like, when I started, I was actually 13. No, okay. So I'm only 28. I just led a rough life. No, I mean, I hope it goes on forever. What, are you kidding me? Yeah. Cha-ching. You'll know, Michael, you'll know. Did you get an allowance? No. Where's Michael's parents? What's wrong with you? I'll give you $1. I'll give you nothing, but I'll still give it to you. All right.
What's your name?
Sorry, Glenda.
Glenda?
Yeah.
What do you got in your mouth? Gum? Oh. Want to share? Glenda.
My question was actually, in one of your older interviews, you had stated that you wanted your character to marry Sasuke.
Sure, why not? It is a match made in heaven, am I wrong?
But he didn't marry Sasuke, so how do you feel about that?
I feel there's divorce laws on the books. So there's always hope, Glenda.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, what's your name?
It's not really. All right, you better be able to talk clearly through that thing.
You can call me Nick.
Nick?
I always wondered. All right.
I would always call you that.
Okay, who is your favorite character in the show?
Naruto? What do you want me to say? Itachi? No.
Why not?
Ixnay on the Itachi ray. Whatever that is.
Besides her own, did you say?
Yeah.
Choji. He eats, I like to eat. Done and done. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. What's your name?
One?
I just wanted to know, since you've been doing Naruto for so long, if you have...
Yes, I'm 91.
You look great, so.
Well, for 90. Not so much for my real age. 28.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, what?
If you have, like, your personal, like, favorite part of the story.
Personal favorite part of the story. I like a lot of it. I like the first fight with Sasuke a lot. I like the pain arc a lot. I like the Jiraiya stuff. I think it's very dramatic, and that's all I'll say, in case you're not caught up. I like the fight with Gaara, where he's dragging himself along the sand. I thought that was really, really good. Thank you. Uh-oh, unzip. Not there. What? Oh. Put that on YouTube. Oh.
Well, the camera can't see, so they don't know what they're unzipping.
Oh, that's good. Oh, so well, turn around, so I don't look like a big weirdo. It was a joke. Turn around. Seriously, turn around.
Wait, no. What's your name?
Samuel.
What? Samuel.
Thank you.
Are you his translator? Go stand next to him. There we go.
Okay. What's your question, Sam?
What do you like better, Naruto or Naruto Shippuden?
I don't have a preference. It's fun to do the more dramatic stuff, of course. It's more, it's intense, and I like that. But, you know, sometimes it's fun to just be youthful and experience a lot of mistakes and keep going. And when I do a lot of flashbacks, which I do a lot of, it's sort of like nostalgic to look back at Naruto as a young kid. So I don't have a preference. I do enjoy doing Shippuden, but you know, it's funny because I've been doing it so long that it just is sort of a part of you. Like you grow up, he grows up, and so it's not like you go, oh man, when I was 10, it was the best year of my life. I mean, maybe you would, but I don't. But I think I moved again at 10. But it wasn't a bad year. I'm not saying that. I'm almost like my teacher. I'm still recovering. But yeah, I don't have a preference. That's the bad answer. That was a terrible answer. Yes.
You did fine. What's your name?
My name's Kevin.
Hello. That's it. You just want to say your name. My name's Kevin. See you later.
Great job. You got it right.
Good question. Yes. I'm going to answer yes before you ask the question.
I just want to know which Naruto form is your, your favorite.
Yes. Gosh. You got it? Okay. She lost her cell phone. I was worried. If I lose my cell phone, I feel naked. Sage mode, I like a lot. I guess. Not sexy jutsu. Because Miley don't do that. I think Stephanie Shea does it, actually. She does the laughing.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's got a high voice. She can do that. I can't.
Oh, yeah. And she's our height. Well, I think she's shorter.
She's shorter than me. Damn it. Heather. Thank you.
All right. Should we guess this one's name? All right. What's your name?
My name is Naruto Uzumaki.
All right.
Can't do the voice as well.
That's all right. Smoke a bunch of cigarettes. It'll come out. I don't smoke anymore.
So my question is, have you seen the memes of you being referred to as Boruto's dad, and how do you feel about that?
Hell no. Hell no.
But you're Boruto's dad, though.
I'm not watching those memes. I mean, do you know what weird crap I see? It's like my voice from a convention and some kid does this animation and I'm just horrified and scarred. One time, the first one I did, and then I was like, no mas. That was for you over there. Si se puede. The first thing I looked at of that nature was somebody, it was way back, right? So things weren't as sophisticated. You were an infant. And there was a carrier pigeon that brought me a message. So it was a pony, yes. It was the Pony Express. There was an image of my real face, a headshot that I had. And then it was Naruto's voice coming out, and it was a crudely animated thing where all it said over and over again was, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, like 100 times. And I was like, yeah, I'm never opening up anything ever again. So no. Sure.
What's your name?
My name is Matthew.
Hey.
I'm already having the best day ever. Thank you.
Thanks, man. And you look good, which is important.
It's a cool shirt, and that's important too.
That's what I meant by look good. All right.
It would make my day even better if you took a quote directly out of one of your Naruto movies, Latinas now.
What?
Latinas.
What? Oh, what is that?
It's a quote from one of your movies.
Oh, can you say the quote? And I'll say, I've done like 7 million lines. That's my ninja way. I've said that like 1 million times.
1,000,001. There we go.
I don't remember.
Okay, you know what? Come to the front of the line. Remember one, and I'll say it. All right.
Or Google it. Maybe
Google it. Yeah,
Google
or ask
it.
somebody beside you or something. I honestly, the last video game that I did, I had. What was it? The last one or the one before that? I don't know. I've done 42 or 43 video games.
42 on here.
Yeah, 42. Yeah, that's a lie that I always tell her. It's like 42. I have no idea. No, I think it is 42. But the last video game that I did, I had 12,000 lines. Yeah. And 600 were Rasengan! Giant Rasengan! Rasengan. That was sexy Rasengan. It's just for you people in Miami. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Anyway.
That was great.
Okay.
Hi. So, there's so many parts in Naruto. It's such a long series.
You're telling me?
Yeah.
I mean, I was in elementary school when I started this job. No, you were.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I know. Don't rub it in, huh?
So, is there any part where you as a voice actor, is there any part that you had the most fun with, and on the other side of that, is there a part where you hated doing, or at least a part that you disliked the most?
Well, I'll be fired if I say what I hate. So no, I loved it all. I'll tell you a funny story. When I first started, and don't go and watch the first 18 episodes, they suck. I mean, I felt like I sucked because I was still trying to figure out the character, which is normal in any cartoon. You know, it's like it takes a while, right, to get to know the character, portray the character, find the emotional center, voice, and all that. Sounds very tactical. It's not. But so anyway, I remember I was doing an episode, and in the beginning, I would do more than. I only do 2-hour sessions generally. But I do video games about 3 hours, and that's it. And I can't. And I was screaming a lot in one of these early episodes, and it was too long. You know, it was just because I'm the lead and I have like a lot of the lines. If you scream for 4 hours straight, it's very hard to maintain, no matter who you are, what voice you're doing. So I remember I just had a bad day, and it was busy, and I was screaming, and I kept saying, you know, I can't do this for more than 3 hours. Like, I just can't. Like, it's just not, you can't sustain that. And in fact, you can do some damage sometimes. So I was like, I can't do it. Yeah, I can't. We got to wrap this up. I just can't, you know. And then the person at the time that was directing me, who's not our normal director, you know, was pushing me, and I was just like, I can't do it! I don't know, maybe there was something else going on in my life that day. So I was like, I told you I couldn't. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. And I left. And then I went downstairs, and it was a building where you had to valet because you couldn't park yourself. And I got to my car, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot my cell phone up there. So I came back and I was like, okay, I'm just getting my cell phone. It was very dramatic. Yeah. And then after that, I did 2-hour sessions. So that worked out. But no fault of theirs. I discovered my limits. And then my favorite parts, there are so many. There's so many. I like the movie The Last. I think that movie is, the animation is beautiful, the story's great. So that's one of many, many, many high points.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Voice of Naruto for the Boruto series?
I don't know, they haven't told me, and I'm still working on Naruto. We still have like 100-something episodes to go. Yeah. I did like episode 666 or something the other day.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you'll be the voice of Naruto for the Boruto.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I hope so too. Whoa.
Brendan is my name. And my question is, what is your opinion on Naruto and Hinata's relationship throughout the series?
Bullshit! I'm sorry, are there children here? You've heard worse. It's okay. I don't know. I guess it's fine. I didn't honestly think he'd end up with her, but he did. I don't write the show. Yeah. Is there some noise going on? I couldn't figure it out.
What are we hearing?
Okay, no.
That's just you.
Oh, it's me. Yeah, I am noisy.
What's your name?
Laura.
What was your favorite fight? Your favorite fight was between Sasuke or anyone else? Yeah, either Sasuke, Neji, or Gaara.
Oh, that's tough. Well, that first fight with Sasuke is pretty great. But the fight with Gaara is amazing. I think I still look back at that. I think that, as well as the fight with Sasuke, the first fight with Sasuke, they really resonate in my mind. Those two, especially. No, the one where they're across the monuments from each other. Yeah, that one. I think both Liam O'Brien and who's Gaara did a great job in that. And you just did a great job in the Gaara one. And I think it's really good. It's really good writing, it's really good emotionally, and his performance is fantastic.
And I noticed that between you three guys have the same history, Gaara, Sasuke, and Naruto.
Mm.
They were alone.
Yeah, they're kind of loners. Yeah, they don't have a lot of friends at first. Yeah, there's a lot of darkness. They don't have parents or parents that are around, and then they have, a brother that's gone to the dark side. Who doesn't? Right? All right.
That's what you also just going through. We're very clever.
Put your mask
I
down.
appreciate that. What's your name?
So my question for you is, I really love Akatsuki, and I wanted to ask you who is your favorite Akatsuki?
Favorite?
Sasuke.
Sasuke. Hey, I'm gonna steal that. I don't know. Itachi. I don't know. Yeah, Itachi. I don't really have a favorite, but sure, I'll go with that. Okay, thanks.
Do you have a favorite?
Who is it? Hisame. Oh, that's good.
What's your name?
Hi, I'm Dale. I had a way better question lined up, but you kind of answered it like as I wasn't lying. So
Speak it.
My backup question. I like my backup question too.
Okay.
Do you like ramen in real life? And what's
Yes.
your favorite type of
Any kind. You know, it's funny when we record all the episodes where they're eating a lot. My director, Mary Elizabeth, and I often are like, it doesn't matter what time it can be like 9 in the morning. We're like, I'm hungry. Are you hungry? It's like, yeah, let's go get sushi. So we mostly go get sushi. We don't generally get ramen that much, but I just had ramen the night before I came here in LA.
Do you have any?
Yeah, do you? You're useless. Get out of here. Go to the stormtrooper pass.
What's your name?
Is someone?
I have a request. Could you do your Naruto voice?
No, I can't do my Naruto voice. Believe it.
Good one.
Thanks. I've done it like 5 million times. I'm glad you approve though.
What's your opinion on the headbands?
Most of them are very sweaty.
Yeah.
Like when you sign this, I'm like, has it been on your head? Can I have some Clorox wipes? But they look cool.
The dark side doesn't use Clorox.
Noted. Thank you.
Noted.
That's why we smell so
That's a good way
bad.
to stop
And why
it.
the
Noted.
dark and why the Death Star's window is dirty because
What?
we don't use Clorox, so the Death Star's window is always dirty.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But thanks for asking the questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I have a friend who's like obsessed with the show.
Good. Tell him I said hi to her.
It would take literally hours out of us hanging out just to watch Naruto.
That's good. As long as you don't do your homework, that's great.
Thank you.
Because everyone knows being uneducated is cool. Why are you so excited about that? Thank you.
I'm educated.
Naruto never went to school.
All right, I remember you.
Naruto Uzumaki. Believe it.
Not really.
I
Try again.
tried. My name is Gareth.
All right. You want some rocks? Throw them in your mouth, swallow them, then you can do the voice.
No problem.
All right. Just kidding.
Anyway, what is your favorite form of the nine-tailed fox?
The nine-tailed version.
Yeah, the nine-tail. You mean, or the six-tail, or the five-tail, or the four-tail?
The seven-tail, the eight-tail?
The nine-tail.
The nine-tail.
Yeah.
That's
It's the strongest.
The strongest of all.
Yeah.
Believe it.
Believe it.
Ah.
Hi, how you doing?
What's your name?
My name's Brandon. I was trying to come up with a really good question, and I think I got one. So you mentioned earlier that you didn't think that Naruto and Hinata were going to get together. I'm curious, who did you think he was going to end up with?
Sasuke.
That's a better answer than I ever could have hoped for.
Good. I'm glad. I'm here to serve.
He is in us chasing through him.
Yeah.
The whole series.
He's a handsome little devil.
Well, I want to know what answer you were going to come up with.
Yeah.
I was gonna. I mean, like, I would like the only other thing I could think of was like Sakura.
You just turned the whole audience against you.
Let's fight to the death. Hinata fans on one side, Sasuke fans on the other. Yeah, that'll take too much work.
I think they got it.
They got it.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Well, thank you.
Welcome back.
I'm back.
All right.
At the beginning of Naruto.
Brendan.
Yeah.
I've only met like 5 million people.
At the beginning of Naruto, the whole build-up of Naruto not knowing his parents the entire time, did you feel some sort of relief
Yes.
when Naruto finally met both of his parents?
Yes. Yeah. I will tell you that it was a very difficult thing for me to do. That was, if you go back and watch that episode, and I haven't, because I can't, I watched a portion of it, but I had lost my mother, and then I had to go record that. Where you go see, where he met his parents, right? See his mother again. Oh my God, that was painful. But there's something that you do in acting where you pull on your emotions that you have in real life, good or bad. So obviously that was a terrible one. So it was so awful. And when I finished, the producer of the show, who I don't see very often, I see him sort of in passing, right? But he was just like, oh my God, I just watched the edited version of this. Maybe this is a couple weeks later. He goes, that was amazing. And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, it was very close to me. So honestly, you can take those things as an actor, as a performer, and use them and transform them in a way. And I don't know that a lot of people in their professions can do that. But I'm lucky to be able to do that. So it's a way of sort of healing, but I tell you, I've seen portions of it, but I don't know if I can go back and watch it. But I know it was good, because at the time, it really, at the end of it, I was just a mess. I was just a mess. I was just like, thanks, I'm done, and then I had to sign my paperwork, so that's always weird. See you later. You know, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I forgot my cell phone. No. Hello.
What's your name? Isabella.
Isabella.
I have a request. Can you give me a hug?
Yes, I can.
Can we just talk about how the photographer...
You don't get a hug.
was like,
That's the end of the hugs, by the way. She's cute. Like 10 years old. Done with the hugging.
My name is Tristan.
Hi.
My name is Tristan. After Naruto, who do you think will become the 8th Hokage?
Is this a trick question? I'm gonna get a grade on this? Well, who do you think it is gonna be?
Either Naruto or... No, not Naruto. Konohamaru.
I think it's gonna be Konohamaru.
What's your name?
Alan.
Hey.
Hi, have you voiced anyone other than Naruto? Just wondering.
What? Of course.
In Naruto or in show?
In general.
I have an Emmy for another character. I do actually. But yeah, I've done a lot of voice work. I was on Pig Goat Banana Cricket for the last couple of years. It got canceled. I was on that show that I just name dropped the Emmy. Jaker's The Adventures of Piglet Wings. I played the lead in that. I've done Rango, Fish Hooks, Back of the Barnyard, Ice Age 3. My first 2 jobs were Jackie Chan or Men in Black series, both series. I did the lead in the feature called Lola and Ava, which is really cute if you ever get a chance to see it. I've done Uncle Grandpa and just did Minecraft and Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13 and a half, some other video game, never seen, don't know the character, don't know the name. Bunch of stuff for DreamWorks that never worked, never got out the air. A lot of pilots that never made it on the air for Nickelodeon. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And live action as well.
Yeah, I spent about 50% of my career doing live action. I do a lot of everything.
I was going to say, you're on one of my favorite shows, Reno 911.
Yeah, Reno 911 is fun. It's all improvised, and you come up with the character and the scenario. So that was fun. I did a couple of those, yeah.
And during the earlier panel, you mentioned the Mindy project.
Yeah, upcoming on the Mindy project. I have a big guest star role in that. Done Mike and Molly, Modern Family. Shameless. I was recurring on that. TV show Bad Teacher. Thank you.
My research, girl, I got you.
Yeah, you got me. God, I've done a million shows that haven't gotten where. Oh, Grey's Anatomy, I was recurring on that for a while. Early on. The Class. I don't know. Weeds. The Office. ER. I don't know. whole lot of crap. You can look it up.
But like you said, you have an Emmy.
I have an Emmy. I won the Emmy one year, and the next year I lost the Emmy.
But you're still nominated.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, whatever. It's more fun to win. Don't let anybody. When you're like, yeah, I was nominated. A lot more fun to win. Damn it, Eartha Kitt. Rest in peace. Whatever. Okay. I knew I was going to lose, actually. So I had a glass of wine.
You're gonna lose to Earth.
When you don't know if you're going to win, you don't drink. When you know you're going to lose, you're like, eh, I'll knock a couple back. It's Eartha Kitt. She's going to win. Yeah. She was great, though. She deserved it.
Laura.
You haven't been nominated.
Was it hard for you to differentiate like between life and anime and reality, like your emotions?
No, like live action stuff. No, it's not that hard. Of course, for Naruto, it's like riding a bike. Actually, you walk in the studio and you just feel like a different person when you walk in for voice acting. The way we do it, if you don't know, and I'll tell you, and if you do know, just look at your iPhone for a little while. This will be short. But the way you do looping, it's called looping, or anime stuff is looped, because if it's done in Japan, obviously it's in Japanese. So we don't get the scripts beforehand. We get the scripts the day of, right? And not the day of, when you walk into the studio. And it's there on a music stand, and then you kind of look at it, and then you look up, and the director tells you what's been happening. Because it may have been a month that you've done it, especially when I got really busy doing on-camera work. So then they tell you sort of like, if you remember, like you just fought, whoever Pain, and you're coming out of that, and you're going into, the Leaf Village or whatever it is. So you read it, and then you watch it, and in your headphones you watch the Japanese, the scene, the lines that you do, as well as maybe a couple other lines. And then they play it back, and there are 3 beeps. Beep, 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 and where the 4th beep is supposed to be, it's imaginary, that's where you start talking and try and match the lip flaps. So that's how anime and looping, or ADR, that's what's called, is done. In original animation, like all the stuff I do for Nick, DreamWorks, Disney, whatever, you kind of, if you can, you try and do it as much like a play, where you all sit in a studio that's maybe a little bit bigger than this stage, but we all have stands and mics, and you do it like in a group, almost like a play, and then you go through it maybe a couple times, and each director has their own different way of doing that. Yeah. So the weirdest thing is, even though you're kind of recreating these voices that were originally done in Japan, it's actually a little more technical than it is doing original animation for the actor, because you have to adjust it. So on the fly, you'll add, if you notice in anime, when everybody gets up, they do this. Like, who does that? Nobody. Like a 90-year-old woman. It's like, so I know I've been working too much when I do this at home. But it's also a way to fill the flap, because the Japanese are like, they talk really fast.
Now you just do your own sound effect in real life.
That's right.
That must be so fun.
This is the thing that I do the most of anything. Because like there's a mouth up there, but there's no translation. So it's like, I have a master's degree in that. It's useless. But
what would you call that?
I don't know.
What's your name?
Hello, my name is Enzo. Big fan. Watched Naruto like most of my life. My question is, since the beginning of the entire show, like they make it that like the Nine-Tails is evil, and they even make it that Naruto and the Nine-Tails don't get along. So what was kind of your reaction in Shippuden when Naruto and Kurama finally kind of became friends and decided to start working together?
That they kind of embrace one another. Well, well, I mean, I didn't see how you figure he's got to harness what's within him. because otherwise, what's the point? You know. So I mean, I liked it. It's just happening sort of for me now, kind of, in where we are recording the series. So it's not a fully, you know, it's not a full thing yet. So it's for me, it's just kind of, I don't read the manga. I haven't had time, mostly. I was on like 3 TV shows at the same time. So most of my time was trying to memorize lines and just be quiet. So, you know, you guys, probably a lot of you know a lot more about the show than I do. Because if you read the manga and stuff, or you watch it in Japanese or subtitles, then you probably do know a lot more than I do know about that. So, yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you for answering my question.
Yeah. I love you.
What's your name?
Hi, I'm Angie. My question is, which character death did you think was the saddest, and which backstory did you think was the saddest?
And which was the second part? Backstory? Was the saddest? Well, I think Naruto's backstory is pretty sad. I mean, if you think about it, if you grow up without parents, I think that's very sad. And a lot of people reach out to me around the world and tell me stories of that. Like, I have a lot of people that come up to me and tell me that they've had a tough life or a rough time. I was over doing a Comic-Con for the troops, and I remember, you know, here all like burly men and women, mostly men. They were all about, you know, like 18 to 24 or something like that. And they were like, it's shocking how many of them came up to me, and they were like, you know, they'd say like, I came from a really crappy home life. You know, without getting into much, because there wasn't much time, because there were a lot of guys, a lot of people. That it reaches a lot of people that you'd be surprised, you know. It used to be a lot of young women 10 years ago when I started, or whatever, a long time ago when I started. But then it's now like all these guys in their 20s that have gone through a lot of stuff. So I think his backstory, Naruto's backstory, appeals to a lot of people. And what was the first question? That was the second question. Character death? I don't know if people are caught up, but spoiler alert, shut your ears. The Jiraiya stuff really hit me. You oughta, Boogie, right? Yeah, that was tough. Thank you.
What's your name?
My name's Michaela. So, people are looking at me. Anyways, since Naruto grew up without parents, I just wanted to know, who do you think was Naruto's male role model and female role model, since he didn't have any parents?
Well, I think Kakashi was his male role model. And Lady Tsunade, sort of, but not really. She's a little cold. Sort of like, you kind of like your principal, you kind of hate him. So I don't know that he had a big female role model.
So I also want to say thank you for voice acting Naruto. Because of you, I've been able to just watch it with my brother anytime I'm with him. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, thank you. It helps. It's weird. I meet people, like generations of families that watch it now.
Hello again.
Hey again.
I know last time I asked you about Goku versus Naruto.
Mm-hmm. Never gonna happen. Sure.
Yes, I got over two parts. The first part is, okay, I know Goku versus Naruto would never match, but if you could see Naruto fight one other lead anime character, who would it be? I don't know, Natsu, Saitama?
I don't watch anime. I have no idea. Like, I meet people at conventions all the time. They're like, don't you know that guy? I'm like, nope. I went to Sydney, Australia with him. I have no idea. I don't know. People always talk about Dragon Ball Z matchups.
Yeah.
But,
How about Naruto versus Mewtwo? No.
Now it's a free-for-all. Yeah. Thank you.
That is a good question, though.
That
was a great question.
Yeah, the other one I meant to ask is, I noticed that probably because of the fact that, do you feel like some of the episodes kind of stretch events out in the book extremely?
Seems like you do.
I feel like did you ever get stuck on a certain thing? Like, one battle would take 3 episodes, that sort of thing. You want to get to the next thing?
No, I mean, not so much for me. We do it in such pieces that I don't know. Like, maybe the battles do last a long time, but from my perspective, I'm just in there, portraying each moment as I can originally on each line. So, if somebody says something with intent, I have to say it with intent. Whether that intent is good or bad, or it's fighting or battle, I have to just commit to it. So I don't look at it. It's about acting in the moment. If you hear a bad actor in bad anime, and they're really rushing through it, you can tell, because it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound like they're taking care, But I will credit Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, who is a fantastic director, who really made sure that this, because she knew what a great anime it was, she wanted to do it justice. So we didn't work super fast. I mean, we didn't work slowly, but we didn't work super fast, and she helped cast, and she knows everybody in the biz, and so I think she picked really great actors. And that was the most important thing. And I think we have terrific actors on our show.
Good question.
Yeah, that was a great question.
What's your name?
Jose. Could you do a Pervy Sage voice?
Do it.
Like Naruto saying Pervy Sage.
Like I'm Pervy Sage? Pervy Sage! Here you go again. I don't know.
Pervy Sage.
Sound like Mickey Mouse.
Do I do that? Pervy Sage! Doesn't really sound like me. Sounds like Stephanie Shea. Don't be shy, you're next.
What's your name?
What do you think will win now? Wait, hold up.
Oh, wait. Wow, the friend's hogging the mic there. Back off, courage.
Win the battle, Naruto or Principal Perry?
Oh, Principal Perry.
Yeah.
She'll pull out a weapon. She's not afraid of any. Neither is Naruto.
I know everyone's here for Naruto.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Lab Rats. How was your time
Me too.
on Lab Rats?
It was one of the best jobs I've ever had in my entire career.
That's awesome.
And I love those kids. They were fantastic and funny. I love that show. I love Disney. I loved working for Disney. It's amazing. I would get the script on a Wednesday or whatever, and then you'd be like, there's no way they're going to be able to pull this off. Like, I'm supposed to fall through a chimney. No, not going to happen. Sure enough, they figured it out. I fell through a chimney, which was a little painful. But, it comes with the territory. I get paid. Again, you.
Here we go.
It's like a battle.
Did you enjoy working with Naruto better or like Lab Rats? Where did you like?
I do not have a preference. It's like apples and oranges. It's like, do you like,
But do you like apples more?
do I like apples more?
They're both fruits. They're both good.
Both fruits. On camera, it takes a long time. It's a longer day. And you're in makeup early in the morning. And it can be quite, they put me through the ringer on that show in a good way. But it's like, it's physically taxing. Like, I'm preparing for this movie that I'm doing, My Babysitter the Superhero, and I had to go get some martial arts, just poses, to go in and out of the stunt woman's poses. And I was in pain, like, the next day, because it was muscles I had never, I haven't used them in 20 years, so it's a whole different thing. Voice acting is certainly an easier job. No, I don't prefer either one. No. But I love doing sitcoms, and Lab Rats was a sitcom, essentially, so that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What's your name?
Robert?
Hey, Rob.
So how did you get started in the whole voice acting industry? What came up that you were like, oh, I'm gonna go voice Naruto and all that?
Well, I just auditioned for it. My agents told me when I was with them on camera for commercials, they were like, you have an interesting voice. That was a euphemism, I guess. You have an interesting voice, weirdo. So I'm still with them. So they said, go take this class, and this class, and go do your voice demo with this Susan Blue, who's a fantastic director, as well. She was an actress too. And I think she was the original Cinderella for Disney or something. But anyway, and they said, go do that. And I did, and then I immediately started working. And then, so I've been working steadily, but it took a long time to kind of advance through the ranks. As for Naruto, they sent me the audition. I auditioned at that time in my agency. Now I audition in my closet. It's super glamorous, you guys. There's clothes all around me. It's really beautiful and hot. But then I used to go in the booth, and then we mailed it off, and then they called me back, and I auditioned for like, I don't know, 30 people or something from Viz, who produces it, and the people in Japan, and the LA directors, producers. And then they had me in there for like 40 minutes trying different emotions, and scenes, and levels, and then they said, you got the job. And then I went home and Googled it, and I was like, crap. There's a lot of pressure. But
Thank you.
It's good.
You did great.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Oh, my name is Kevin.
Kevin.
And well, my question's a little bit drawn out, but you've been playing Naruto now for a long time. And I was
I'm 90, Kevin.
And what I was wondering, given how poorly live action anime adaptations have been received recently, how do you feel about Lionsgate's live action Naruto they're working on?
Please don't.
Oh, that's already out?
Yeah.
Word's out? I knew it was a secret for a while. But I have a friend that works there, and they're like, hey, guess what? They also asked me for a lot of information. I was like, why don't you watch the series, huh? I don't care. I mean, I hope that they don't, I hope that they don't do the mistake of casting, even though I'm white and I'm playing a Japanese ninja, it's a cartoon, but I certainly hope in the live action they don't go with like a lily white cast, because that would suck. No, kidding.
Hi, what initially got you just into acting in general?
I never wanted to be an actor. I was one of those people who grew up and was like, I want to be an actor. I was a poli-sci and math major in college. Dropped the math second semester because it was hard. I was like, I got the poli-sci down, that's good enough. Then I was in an improv group, and then we stuck together after college, and then we all moved to Minneapolis, where I performed for a long time. But I knew I was going to move to LA, like once I started professionally acting, which was a long time ago. As for voice acting, again, it was just my agent said you should explore this. And I would say about 50% of my career is on camera, and 50% is voice acting.
And what's your favorite color?
Green. Thank you.
Even orange.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Welcome back. You again. What is that, a pickle?
Yeah,
It's pickle. Oh.
Let's bring it out to the classroom.
Don't wave that pickle around.
Once again, they can't see what we're talking about on the video.
Yeah,
Walk in front of the camera when you
really
leave.
bad. I have an acting question.
I've said worse. Still not fired. 15 years. Okay. Probably tomorrow I will be. Go ahead.
I would like to be a voice actor.
Yeah?
Like a professional one. And you've done a lot of on-camera work.
Yeah.
And I was curious, how do you take that into like your voiceover stuff, and what kind of mindset and like method and physicality do you bring to it when you're portraying Naruto in the booth?
Damn.
Well, I mean, you can't move around a lot in the booth. I remember I got this really cute jacket, and I was like, I feel kind of cute. I got a great jacket. I go in, the engineer's like, I was like, do you like my new jacket, Mike? He was like a 70-year-old man, so he's, what's he gonna say? No? He's like, yeah, I love it. Take it off. It's noisy. I was like, thanks, Mike. But you can't move around a lot, so you have to express yourself. It's funny to see big, huge movie stars start to do these movies and TV shows, because they don't know how to do it. A lot of them don't. And a lot of them are terrible at it. Like, sometimes I cringe when I see one of the bigger features when it's like completely inappropriately cast. With somebody who looks great and does great on camera, and then they end up talking on screen like they talk on camera. It's just like, where's the gun? For me, not for them. So it's not like you think about it as a difference. I would say it's made me a better actor overall, because, as I said, I don't get the script beforehand, and 1 minute you're killing somebody, and the next minute you're at their funeral, which doesn't happen when you're working generally on stage, or certainly not on film, which is very slow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Film, they do like only a couple pages a day of filming, shooting.
All right, let's get to these final 4 questions. Here we go.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask, let's pretend that Naruto and Sasuke are together.
Shit.
Who do you think would confess first, and what would they say to each other?
Naruto.
I love you. I love you. Where's the ramen? Let's forget about the last 20 years. Why is your hair in your eyes? Why do you have blonde hair? Why do you have a coffee filter around your neck? Why do you run with your arms behind your back? Why are there trains but no phones? Why is there a TV in Boruto but nothing else? Still no cell phones. Or landlines. That's what I think the conversation would go like. On and on forever. Like Dante's last circle of hell. Okay.
Who says romance is dead? All right.
That was for the kids. Hola, Nicole. Did someone say hola back to me? Thank you. Boogie.
Okay, I was wondering, if you could cosplay as any character from Naruto, who would you cosplay?
Naruto?
No, but it can't be Naruto.
Nothing. One of the frogs. And by that I mean I'd be completely naked. I know you're all picturing that right now. It's pretty sweet, you guys. Paint myself green. Hunker down. That's a vision for you. I want you to sleep with that tonight. Think about it over and over again. Horrified in the morning. Then animate it and tweet it to me. And then I'll be horrified and retweet it. The prettiest Todd in the room.
On behalf of Todd, Billy, and the rest of the audience, and all of the Naruto fans, we just want to say that we love you to death.
Thank
So
you.
thankful.